when I give this up, I'm going to become a media trainer. Because they're obviously so rubbish everywhere. And they train the government. They train people like Rachel Reeves. Rachel Reeves comes out, and if she speaks tough, then we think she is tough and that she doesn't make any mistakes.
Never makes mistakes.
But goodness me, what a farce. Instead of just coming out and saying, you know, I botched this up, I messed this up, and I see you can understand, we understand you weren't happy about this, so we're turning this winter fuel thing back on itself. But no, the economy is much stronger. Is it? Is it? And where are you going to pay for all this? How are you going to pay for all of this?
And by what metric is the economy stronger?
But anyway, you get the media trainer who comes out and says, just act like a chancellor. Be iron-fisted about it all. Just say it. Make it so.
Throw in a few gags every now and again.
Every
now
now
and
and again.
Smile.
Do you know what it is, Paul? Humility is a great thing.
Yeah.
I think people will be very forgiving if they say, look, we thought this was a way of raising money. We had to raise money. We were in dire financial straits, and I got this wrong.
See, there's a way, isn't there? It's almost like it's the rule. It's the political rule, and this is how politicians speak, and this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be. And then you think, well, what do I like about people? If I like people, I like people that are normal. I like someone that is actually going to admit sometimes when they're wrong. If you have someone that you meet and always they're like, well, this is it, I'm not going to change my mind. You think, honestly, I don't like this person very much.
No.
So surely to like someone and get something up there, then you can get to trust someone.
Human.
Which is how I feel about you.
But then I think that we in the media have a lot to blame for this. You know, so say sorry. It's saying here. I mean, but she's so robotic. Oh, it's awful. And then what about those Egypts that are up protesting about the king?
Yeah.
You know, have you got sod all else to do? Do you wake up on a Monday morning or whatever and decide, I'm going to protest about the king. He gets up my nose.
I think they basically follow him around. I mean, wherever Cameron Walker is with the king, the public are there.
Why? Who cares?
Is it the same ones?
Yeah, well,
or is it just different groups from different areas?
Yeah, same bunch.
He sees them. Oh, yeah, they are again.
It's the duchies, not my king.
Maybe they're on a rota system. I'm not sure.
Who cares?
Past the duchy on the left-hand side, all that stuff.
What does that even mean?
That was musical youth, wasn't it?
What does it mean? Past the duchy on the left-hand side.
Well, I'll tell you what it was. It's
song.
because originally it was past something else. And they thought, well, these are musical youth. They can't really pass that, which is something that was being smoked.
You know
so they
everything.
turned it into duchy, which is a jug. They used in the Caribbean. So that's...
Okay.
How do I know that? I have no
You're like an
idea.
encyclopedia of
An
knowledge.
encyclopedia of useless knowledge, which is no good to anybody.
But then we learn.
Bless you.
And every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day, as it
True.
were. Well, there we go. The Chancellor is ridiculed after U-turning on one of her first decisions, and that was to cut the winter fuel payments for the majority of pensioners.
Well, pensioners in England and Wales will now have their £300 payments reinstated as long as they earn less than £35,000 a year.
So Rachel Reeves turned the blame on what her party inherited from the previous government when she spoke yesterday.
We had to make difficult decisions last year. The public finances were in a total mess when I became Chancellor last summer, and we had to take immediate action to get control and get a grip of the public finances. We have been able to do that. We've returned stability to the economy. In the first quarter of this year, our economy was the fastest growing in all of the G7, which now means we're able to make different choices. And that's why today I can announce that this winter, 9 million pensioners will now receive the winter fuel payment.
And where are you getting the money from that, Chancellor? Well, I won't really say that, but I'll speak tough. And I'll speak tough, and therefore people think I am tough. The key question is, where will the money come from? It's £1.25 billion.
Exactly that.
Should be looking for.
Well, let's get the thoughts now of journalist and broadcaster Mike Parry. Good to see you this morning, Mike. And the papers are very unforgiving this morning. Looking at the Daily Mail, deluded. The Metro, humiliating. And the Sun, it was foolish. What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, those headlines all exactly describe the pickle that the Chancellor Rachel Reeves has found herself in. I mean, historically, what happened here was when they got in, the economy was in good shape and it was at the top of the G7 league. You know, the Tories had actually made progress in growth in the economy. But when Rachel Reeves got in, this amazing £22 billion black hole suddenly appeared. Even the OBR who, usually are very favourable to Labour government, questioned it and said, we're not sure where that is. But Rachel Reeves sat down with her advisors and decided to make the world think that I'm an Iron Chancellor and that I can take the hard decisions. We've got to announce a cut in public spending. Now, she could have announced a cut in public spending in the massive welfare bill. She could actually have said, I tell you what, I'm not going to give train drivers a rise to make their salary 70,000 a year. I'm not going to give the doctors what they wanted. But no, that would have promoted fury from all the traditional supporters on the Labour side, all the trade unionists and all the left-wing backbenchers. So what she did was she decided with her advisors to pick on the people who could least protect themselves, who could least fight back, and they were the pensioners, OK? And she never saw it as a political problem. She saw it as an opportunistic problem because pensioners don't go out in the streets and hold up placards. Pensioners can't go on strike like train drivers can. So she thought this is absolutely perfect.
Right.
She didn't realise the massive political damage because in this country, we are a very caring country. And even if you weren't a pensioner, losing your £300 winter fuel allowance, you had children and even grandchildren who were very, very concerned for you. It was a wicked and nasty policy. It was ill thought through. And the leader of House of Commons, Lucy Powell, a few weeks later had to justify it by saying, oh, well, there would have been a run on the pound. What utter nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense.
All right. But does she deserve any credit at all? I mean, she's not saying sorry. She just talks tough and sounds stupid. But, we, the media, we, the press, and asking for say sorry. Should we not back off and say to her, well done, you listened to the pressure, you listened to common sense, and you did something about it. We applaud that.
No, she's not going to say sorry because that'd be too humiliating. And remember, politically, she's welded to Keir Starmer. Her future prospects are largely alongside his. So I don't think he's going to sack his Chancellor, even though she's made a complete fiasco of it. But she should say sorry because at least she'd get a bit of respect for that. But she's made an absolute clown of herself by claiming that because I've so improved the economy. Does the economy look like it's improved? Businesses are closing down, pubs are closing down, people are being thrown out of work. That doesn't look like improvement to me.
Well, if she's improved it, none of us have noticed.
The only thing she's improved is the length of the dole queues and that sort of thing. But it's a complete and utter fiasco.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Does talking tough make you a good Chancellor? Have you got to be seen as an iron Chancellor?
Well, the problem is, if you talk tough and your policies actually work, Nigel Lawson was the greatest Chancellor we've had in post-war years to me. He did things very slowly. When he first got in as Chancellor, it took him 4 years to get the top rate of tax in this country down from 80 pence in the pound, which it was under the previous Labour government, to 40 pence in the pound. And that meant we had the biggest booming economy in Europe because he did it, in the world, actually, because he did it properly. Rachel Reeves hasn't got a clue what she's doing. First thing she did was give all that money to the train drivers and to the doctors, OK? She said, I've got a £22 billion black hole. She didn't have a black hole of any consequence. Even the OBR said that. One of the reasons they did it was to try and impress the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, because, of course, Keir Starmer is an internationalist. He believes that foreign courts and foreign bodies should have a claim on England. He was trying to impress them. But it's now such a fiasco, it's going to plunge us into doom and gloom because the pensioners now might get their money, but they will never forget the way they were targeted, like they target the middle classes. We're all going to have to pay now for this, They'll
never forget. You come back in about 45 minutes' time and listen to what folk are saying about this. Just another thing. What do you think about these guys that go around protesting about the king? Not my king.
Yeah, well, I wish they'd go and get a job because and I'm not being rude, because maybe it's not easy to get a job where they come from, but if you look around, because they seem to travel around quite a lot, to use the old expression, get on your bike and find a job, they clearly haven't got a job if they're protesting every time the king is about. I am a royalist. I think the king is one of the greatest assets this country's got, and these mindless people waving their yellow banners around, not my king. Sorry, King Charles is your king, and if you don't like it, I suggest you go and live somewhere else.
Thank you, Mike Parry. Speak again shortly.
And let us know what you think on either of those stories. You're certainly going to have an opinion this morning. gbnews.com/you'll say.